The European Union's support to democratic governance in Nigeria holds closure ceremony of Phase 1 and launch of Phase 2 at International Conference Center Abuja on Monday, 12th September 2022. The Independent National Electoral Commission chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, affirmed that the first phase of the EU-SDGN went a long way to complement the Commission's effort at strengthening the organizational and planning capacity.
The NYSC, the youth corps members, are among the most patriotic, most educated, most readily available election duty staff anywhere in Nigeria. I will not forget to recognize the hard-working staff of INEC. If the youth corps members are temporary staff of the commission, as they are called in other jurisdictions, here we call them ad hoc staff, we also have the permanent staff of INEC that have made all the reforms that we have been talking about possible. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my friends, my comrades, my brothers, my sisters, let me start by extending the Commission's profound appreciation to Her Excellency Ambassador Isopi, head of the European Union delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS, for the invitation to this occasion to mark the closure of Phase 1 and the launch of Phase 2 of the European Union support to democratic governance in Nigeria. The closure of Phase 1 and the simultaneous launch of Phase 2 of the EU-SDGN program is a further affirmation of the enduring commitment and support of the European Union towards strengthening democratic institutions and the consolidation of democracy in Nigeria.
A year before the election, for budgetary provision to be made available to the Electoral Commission. These are very laudable provisions that have now been incorporated, and this Electoral Act 2022 will be tested, of course, for the 2023 general election. The transparency of the process in terms of the results collation process, is also something that has also allowed, some gaps for stakeholders to exploit, where there were intimidation of election workers to declare election results. And these are key elements that in the future has to be met with very stringent penalties. People that tend to intimidate election workers for electoral outcomes in their favor should not be allowed to go without punitive measures being put in place to address.
What we're trying to do this time around is to use the Nigerian Media Code of Election Coverage as a tool of engagement with the regulatory agencies, with the political parties, with the government itself, and in fact the different management of those media organizations, to let them understand that it enhances their credibility when they give space to other political parties. As a matter of fact, the Electoral Act mandates the media, especially government-owned media, to give what it calls, equal opportunity for all the political parties to talk about their programs. And it's actually an offense when you don't do that. There's a sanction for that. And that sanction includes a possible fine of that session and even possible fine of the editors.
Setting of politics in Nigeria, both at the presidential aspiration, the presidential nomination of candidates, governorship, senator, have been so successfully. And the INEC have also given a time frame for political party to dialogue with their candidate so that the right person that was voted by the people should be accepted by all before 28th that lift the flag for the campaign.
The European Union ambassador, Ms. Samuela Isopi, said the EU has provided technical support to key electoral institutions and stakeholders since Nigeria joined democracy in 1999.
The European Union has provided technical support to key electoral institutions and stakeholders since Nigeria returned to democratic rule in 1999, with over 150 million euros committed so far. Phase 1 of the EU-SDGN contributed to the reform of the electoral process by building capacities, strengthening institutions, strengthening the role and the participation of civil society, and contributing to the reform of the legal framework. Building on the success of the first phase, the identification and formulation of phase 2 of the program was done in consultation with the Nigerian government and key stakeholders, such as INEC and civil society organizations. The overall objective of the program is to foster in Nigeria a functioning, pluralistic, inclusive, participatory, and representative democracy.
Well, the phase 2 for us is to consolidate on what we've done in phase 1 and to equally look at other opportunity, be more creative and not more innovative. And as you're aware, more than ever before, Nigeria is going through a lot of security threat across all the region. In the past, we had only Boko Haram. In the past, we had only IPOB. But now there's the issue of bandits, there's the issue of kidnappers, there's the issue of unknown gunmen, and there's the fact that a number of persons have been displaced from their communities. So what we're hoping we'll be able to achieve is to increase awareness around the security threat to election and ensure that both government and the citizen pay attention to those issues that are likely to create more problems, and we're able to have practical solutions to them and be able to solve the problem so that people go out and vote and people are assured that the election is going to count and governance is going to work for everybody.
Obviously, there won't be any political process without communication, and ARCON regulates the communication aspect of it. If you are communicating to the audience or the electorate through whichever mediums, radio, TV, newspaper, outdoor, and even the online platforms, you need to get approval from the Advertising Standard Panel, a statutory committee that give approval of all political campaigns to ensure that all campaigns and advertisements are legal, decent, honest, truthful, and socially responsible.
And we had two important organizations, the Institute for Media and Society and the International Press Center, who implemented that component. And we had the fifth component, which was support to civil society and citizens engagement, that was implemented by a number of organizations, including the Albino Foundation, BBC Media Action, Center for Citizens with Disabilities, Clean Foundation, Nigerian Women Trust Fund, Westminster Foundation for Democracy, and the Premium Times Center for Investigative Journalism. We had a sixth component, which was unofficial, and that was the support to the National Peace Committee, which was implemented by the Coker Center. Within this particular program, I will be asking my colleagues to take a minute each to just tell us what their components had aimed to achieve and some of the results that stood out within the implementation of the EU program.
But it also meant that we were left with an imperfect democracy. And the EU tried to respond to that in a sense some years after by providing interventions through PLAC and Yaga Africa to support the National Assembly within Component 2A, which is the component within the EU-SDGN I represent.
This time around was to have a multimedia stakeholder buy-in for credible reporting of elections in terms of its fairness, in terms of its access, in terms of its inclusive focus, and in terms of holding the leaders accountable.
Before the election. And so the evidence-based, the findings from the research conducted, the nationwide threat assessment conducted under this particular component was actually able to identify hotspots. And the hotspots actually helped security agencies in their deployment. And one key thing that actually happened was the fact that...
From Abuja, I am Luca Moses, reporting for News.Africa. From Abuja, I am Luka Moses Shuzoma, reporting for Basa TV. From Abuja, I am Luka Moses Shuzoma, reporting for Premier TV.